3, 2, 1. Oh. Okay, we good. All right.
We got cheers.
Cheers. This is the stuff. Root beer, the superior soda. This, my friends, got us through 3 all-nighters. More about that later on in this episode.
This is not a root beer ad. I just like to preface that.
I believe it was a day in February or something like that, and by that point we had a month or so left in the season, and so we decided to dedicate one class period during our independent study time to really sit down and dissect the season and what had happened so far.
We really needed to take that time to actually form a narrative, and so kind of detective style, where you have the cliche board with the sticky notes and the yarn. We kind of did our own little version of that. We took like a big grease board and we just started writing.
We wrote down different games and practice moments that we thought really would propel the story forward. As we were making this plot line, keep in mind, we didn't know how the story was going to end. We had structured our storyboard around us going to John Burroughs and having an either or: we beat John Burroughs or we lose against John Burroughs. But we did not prepare for not even getting to the John Burroughs game. And so I remember driving home after that Nearings game and thinking to myself, oh no, this is what we're making our documentary on. What are we gonna do now? So after our loss at Nearings, our documentary could no longer be an underdog story. So we had to brainstorm, what story do we want to tell? And we were forced to take our story in a whole other direction. Instead of focusing on the underdogs defeating the returning state champions, it became a story about the girls and what made their team so special and what went beyond the wins, the losses, the success, and the heartbreak. After we created our story arc, we divided each of those sticky note scenes into what we would edit.
Yeah,
so I think
like you get a sticky note, you get a sticky note. This is what you're editing. That's how we assigned, how we split up the work.
Yeah, we ended up with 20 scenes and then 6 stories for the girls. As I was trying to edit, I would realize, I have a bunch of these great shots, but I have no interviews to back this up and really narrate what the heck is going on in this film. And so we ended up having to do a lot of postseason interviews as well, and that took a lot of Isabel's time because she had to contact the players to see, hey, what time works for you? Can we meet at this time, at this place, for this long? And then we also came up with due dates, like ideally when we would want each scene to be edited. And let's just say, we did not stick with those due dates.
Yeah, no, we did not meet our deadlines. I think we assumed, because we edited all these fun short videos that, it shouldn't take that long. But when you have to think about going through all those interviews and clipping out specific words, we've never done that before. We've clipped B-roll together like nobody's business, but we've never done narrative work before. I think we underestimated how much time that would take, and we were overly optimistic about our ability to meet those deadlines. Deadlines were not met, but the documentary's deadline was met, and that's all that matters.
It's true, although it came up to the very last minute.
Beyond Basketball was an independent study, but overall it was a senior project. And with being a senior, of course, May comes around and it's time to graduate. So we went from throwing our caps and now becoming alumni to a 2-week window of straight editing.
We wanted our documentary finished by June 1st, 2023. And we still had quite a few scenes that needed to be finished editing, and then several scenes that still needed to be put together.
Bella was editing and gathering content for our resolution because at a time we thought our vision for the resolution was going to be more about, look at where the girls are now, they're doing things outside of basketball, beyond basketball, but it ended up being more about the team and like steering it more towards how did this experience impact the girls overall. And while doing that, I was scheduling and coordinating those interviews to get that context together, as well as contacting other production companies to get those really, really cool like announcer sounds that we wanted, and just like that footage that you see like in the Mizzou game with Ellie Busher and that interviewer.
For that entire 2 weeks, both of us probably put in 10-hour days just editing straight and communicating.
I think it was more than that, if we're being honest. Eat, sleep, breathe, editing.
Yeah. So that was our life the 2 weeks after we graduated. You know, most seniors are going off, I don't know, to the beach in Florida, having a good old time in summer. But, you know, we still had this big senior project that we were dedicated to, and we wanted to finish it with a bang. It came to like the 3-day mark when this documentary needed to be finished, and we still had touch-up work that needed to be done.
Not even touch-up work, some scenes weren't even started yet.
Which scenes weren't started yet?
My John Burroughs scene. That first game against John Burroughs, I started that 3 days before the premiere. We had a lot of work to do, and that required us being together and collaborating and working on it. So, because I lived over an hour from her at the time, she had to commute to me, and we spent those 3 days at my house. I don't know how we did it, but 3 all-nighters.
Oh, I know how we did it.
Oh.
Barq's root beer. So, we went 3 nights without sleeping, putting together the finishing touches of this documentary, and Barq's kept us going. This, right here, is how we did it.
When I think beyond basketball, I think root beer.
Yes, exactly. Root beer and the passion we had for the story, obviously.
But first, root beer. We had this big idea of having a red carpet premiere night for the girls, just to really, I mean, we couldn't make it without them, and you know, they didn't have to let us pursue this project, pursue this dream. I mean, they didn't sign up for that when they tried out for the team. They wanted to play basketball and play a game that they love and be with a team that they love. They didn't ask for that to be documented, so I just really wanted to show them that they were appreciated and that we cared and that we really wanted it to be special for them. That this is not just about us, this is about them, their story, and this is a time capsule for them. A gift that the least we could do is give them that special night to really end their season. You can make a project all you want, but it doesn't mean anything if nobody sees it, if nobody can really enjoy the experience, and having those little extra touches to really present our project made it all the more special. Having that, you know, showing in the old gym and on this big board and giving the girls like a special seat and have them walk down the red carpet, all those little touches, I think was a really awesome finish to an eventful season of basketball.